Hello, my name is Johnny. I'm from the pOedGamerQuehegan YouTube channel, and since it's October, we're close to Halloween, scary stuff going on and everything like that, thought I'd do a video for my top 10 horror games, that kind of survival horror, things like that. Well, not really all, these aren't all survival horror, but these are games to play during Halloween, basically. They are not your typical, like, everybody knows about Silent Hill, everybody knows about Resident Evil, or at least most people do. Things like that, I haven't included those in this list. So these are kind of more of the unknown games, or games you might not think of. And the first one we'll start off with, they are FMVs. They're on the Sega Genesis, on the Sega CD, sorry. You have to have the Sega CD to play these. And number 10, I love B-horror movies. To me, they're funny, they're just really comical, and this is a B-horror movie. Thing is you kind of have to, I think you have to plug your controller into player 2 to get this to work. Some people have actually known that like the game doesn't work, but try plugging your controller into the second player port, and sometimes that seems to fix things. But that is Corpse Killer on the Sega CD. Yes, it's not the greatest game, but you are some in the army, it parachutes down, you get trapped, and now you're running from a guy who's created zombies. I mean, it's very cheesy. The acting is your typical FMV acting, but it's actually kind of funny, and it's a good little game to play during Halloween because it's like just like the B-horror movie type thing. That's the reason why I picked this. Another game, also kind of a B-horror movie type thing, is a game that kind of got the rating system in games put into it. And that is Night Trap on the Sega CD. This is their re-release version. It's not the original, but there's no difference between this version and the other version. I think the only difference is just the box. They said they're going to, I think Sega said they're going to re-release it in an edited version. They never did. They're all the same. It's just the box is different. And I think a different company released it. It actually says over an hour and a half of full motion video. This game, after you play it a few times and you know what to do, it's very easy. But the first time you play it and just getting into the story and to see what's going on, it's very comical. Very B-horror movie-ish. And that's the reason why I say play this. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2. Okay. For a second I thought I actually missed a game somewhere. Alright. Next, this is kind of a Resident Evil style game. So this would be number 8. This is a Resident Evil style game. Like zombies and things like that. And that is Carrier. This game, I bought this, I believe the day I bought my Sega Genesis or soon after. And it was really good. It really, because it was one of my first forays into a survival horror game in this resolution, this type of graphics. Before that, I was always playing things on the PlayStation and stuff like that, and this is a huge step up. The game, it's your basic like Resident Evil game, but you have this like gun that's got infinite ammo. It's like a spark gun, or it just like shoots out electricity. But it actually says it takes in the 21st century terrorism reigns supreme. So I was like, this is Carrier. If you can't hear it, you're already dead. It's pretty good. I mean, it's not the greatest survival horror game, but it's pretty good, and it's something that most people don't know about, and I really, really enjoyed it when I played it. Alright. I got the game spread out too far. Another game. This is kind of a brawler, just run around beating things up. But this is the one with zombies in it on the Dreamcast. That's called Zombie Revenge. I believe this actually has a VMU game on it, or something like that. Or that might be this one. I don't remember. But one of them actually has a small game for the VMU that you can put on and you can play. And this was actually pretty good because you just run around, you're just punching, killing zombies. But it's a good, like, kind of like Streets of Rage, but with more of a 3D environment. Very good. I liked it when I played it. Today it doesn't stack up against the modern ones, but if you're looking for something on the Dreamcast that maybe you haven't played yet, or you're just looking for horror games, it's not the norm. This is a really good one. I highly recommend. Okay. Okay, number 6. We're going to start moving into more of the more known games. But I had to include a shooter. You need a CRTV to play this. And I didn't want to include House of the Dead 2 because most people know about House of the Dead. It's a very common game. It's very good. And one of my favorites. But this one is also pretty good. And it's not as well known, but a lot of people do know about it. It was in the arcades, and that is Vampire Knight. This is very, very similar to House of the Dead. Namco, I can't remember if Namco made House of the Dead, but they may have. Basically, you're going around and you're killing vampires instead of zombies, like in House of the Dead. So, but yeah, you need a CRT TV, like the tube TVs, and you can play this. The gun actually has, but you can see the instructions here. The gun, you actually have to put that in line with your cables and everything. But it actually worked really good, and it's actually a really fun game. So, okay, so we got 5 of them down, got 5 more to go. Okay, now we are going to go to some more modern systems. Well, number 1's it's not extremely modern, but okay. So next, this game, I believe I got this with my 360, if I'm not mistaken. And this game's kind of a survival horror. It's really spooky, very good, great atmosphere. And that is Condemned Criminal Origins. I highly recommend this game. It's really good. It's got a lot of suspense in it. It's actually a really good game that can scare you, but not make you too like I've watched so many horror movies. Like, there's not many things that scare me. One of these games on this list, and that's number 1. That's the only game that's ever scared me. But this one, the atmosphere is very tense. It's really good. Part 2, they revealed like all the stuff behind the scenes and what's going on, and I think that actually hurt the series. But this one's I think is superior to actually Part 2. Okay, number 4. This is another zombie game. I love zombie games. If you haven't, I've got zombie stuff all over the place. Like, I got board games and video games, and like I actually did the Escape the Dead in San Diego, California, when they did during Comic-Con at Petco Park. And I actually got first year I was a runner. The second year I was actually one of the zombies. So if you did that, you probably did see me. I was one of the guys on the ramps that go down, and I was like one of those at the corner. So, but yeah, if you have pictures of that, you may look at them. You may actually see me dressed up as one of the zombies. But this is another zombie game. This actually surprised me how good this game was when I first played it. And it's basically, you have 4 characters. If you have 4 people you can play this game with, it's great. Playing with random people, yeah, that's not so great. But that is Left 4 Dead. Had a lot of fun playing this game. When you get 4 people together that's really into it. And what I like doing is actually trying not to do it as like trying to beat the game. I try to role play it. And it's like I've actually had people try to role play like they were scared, and they would sometimes when things got really tense, a lot of zombies, they just run away. And I mean, if you're trying to play the game, trying to beat it, that may hurt things. But this, I like it because it actually will. That kind of adds to me, like it pulls you into the situation. And sometimes you can play. I'm trying to remember who it was. There's the biker guy. I can't remember his name. The guy was one guy played him as a gay biker, and was really funny. and played him not as like your tip, like what you would think is, oh, this guy's girly. No, it's like he talked with a higher pitched voice, but he had been playing this game for a long time and just basically slaughtered everything. He could have probably went through by himself and beat everything, but it was really funny because we played once where the the girl in the game was like ex-military. Some people play her as like cheerleader and everything. So yeah, it's a very good game if you can role play it like that. Something might not be for everybody, but for me that was really fun, and I highly recommend this. Left 4 Dead. I think there's a part 2. I haven't played it. Actually, I'm pretty sure there's a part 2. I actually have that. I had to look. I can't remember. Okay, another game. Okay, number 3 on my list is a game I just recently picked up. I've been playing a lot. It's a game by Atlas. I love Atlas games, and it's not so much horror as suspense. It does get kind of scary because something's chasing you in your dreams, and you may already know what it is, and that's Catherine. Basically, like you're like you go to sleep and you're like a sheep type thing. You have these horns. You're trying to climb up this tower, and it's actually, I mean, when it gets really suspenseful, like it gets really tense when those blocks start falling down, and they're like 1 or 2 rows below you, and you're trying as fast as you can to get up. And the tense, the atmosphere and everything, it's really good to play during Halloween because it can give you a good scare. And it's number 3. Number 2, this is more, I recommend the entire series for this. And that is Corpse Party. It was on the PSP. This is Blood Drive. There wasn't physical copies released for part 1 or part 2. Part 1 just called Corpse Party on the PSP. Part 2 is called Book of Shadows, and this was part 3, Blood Drive, on the PS Vita. This one just recently came out. Very good game. They have a lot of atmosphere, and it's not something you go around trying to kill the ghost. You basically have to run for most of them. So you are just going around trying to survive what happened in this school, and I don't want to reveal much about it because part 1 leads into part 2. I mean, and then part 1 and part 3, you move around and more exploring. Part 2 is kind of a visual novel type game, so it's not as good, but I still enjoyed it. And it's one of the few times that's been very suspenseful, and it's not really like. And some people that play this game said it scared the crap out of them, and I can see that because the atmosphere is so good in these games. But I highly, highly recommend them. I beat Corpse Party on the PSP, unlocked all the endings for that. Book of Shadows, I'm not completely through, and I want to beat Book of Shadows before I play this one. I've actually had this for maybe a week or 2, and the first thing it says it's been so much time after the events that took place in the Book of Shadows incident, and I was like, crap. I'm pretty sure it's going to give you the backstory, but I want to experience everything through that game before I start this one. Alright, and number 1, this is the only game I've ever played that's actually scared me. The atmosphere is awesome. The controls, I mean, it's the point and click type game. This is on the PlayStation, and it's actually part 2, but they call it, but you think it's, they don't really let you know that there's a part 1 because it's only released in Japan on the Super Nintendo. And that is Clock Tower. The very first of the game, it's the same girl that was in the original on the SNES is in this one. This takes place like a day or week or so. I can't remember how much time has passed, but it takes place after that game. And it's just so good. The atmosphere is put together so well. The voice acting is horrible. But the story in this is great. There's I think it's 8 different endings, if I'm not mistaken. No, 5 playable characters and 10 different endings. And it's great. I mean, there's sometimes you think, you'll play the game and beat it, and you'll think, oh, I can just go back a little bit to one of my saves and I'll be able to get the other ones. You can't. Sometimes you have to go back really far and like, oh, I went this way and I need to take this, I need to do this to actually be able to get that other ending. But I highly recommend this game. Very good. I mean, Scissor Man, I think that's what they call him in the game. This guy with this giant pair of scissors. He lumbers along, and it's just like you just, every so often, you just start hearing ching, ka-ching, ka-ching, and when you see him, he's walking forward. Every time he takes a step, he closes these giant scissors, and it makes a lot of suspense because you can actually go into rooms and hide. Sometimes he'll go in there and he won't find you. Sometimes he'll find your hiding place and kill you. Just, I can't recommend this game enough. So yeah, if you can find it, pick it up. There's actually a part 2, which is very, this gameplay style is very similar to this one. There's part 3, which is kind of a roaming around type game. And then there's, is it Hunting Ground or Haunting Ground? Where like you're this girl that's kidnapped and you have this dog. And that's actually part 4, but they didn't really, I can't remember if it's actually part 4, if they consider it a spiritual successor, but highly recommend part 1. It's great. Part 4 is, I've never played it. I've been looking for it. It's actually kind of an expensive game, but I really want it. But yeah, number 1, Clock Tower. Play it. It's very good. Well, hope you guys liked the video. These are just a few games that are not your typical, just like survival, like Resident Evil or Silent Hill type game, but different variety. I mean, play at Halloween, which is really fun because I love Halloween. I mean, get a group of people together and play something like this, or actually a group of people playing Night Trap is funny because you can actually, some people are going to be like, oh, that's a crap game, but some people are like, hey, let's try it, and you can, like, everybody's like going, no, go here, do this, and just sometimes people die, and you're like, no, and like it's like an interactive movie. You have to kind of play it that way. So yeah, I mean, games like this isn't as good to play in groups, but some games like this, like Night Trap and Corpse Party and Clock Tower, these are games that actually have the storyline and things like that can actually, other people might enjoy watching. And also, those games don't move very drastically. That could make some people motion sick. I mean, some games like, Carrier's not too bad because it's kind of like you can just move it when you're moving around, your perspective, like Resident Evil, it changes as you go off screen, then it kind of like the pre-rendered background. That's what I was thinking of. But Left 4 Dead and Condemned, these two games can make people motion sick, so playing them in group and like a group of people watching, this one's not as good, but multiplayer, if you have 4 people playing this, it's really good. But hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope that your Halloween is really good. Hope you don't get too scared. Don't drink too much, and don't eat all the candy. But hope you enjoyed it, and till next time. Thank you for watching my video. If you liked the video, go ahead and give me a like. If you'd like to see more from me, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. I release at least 2 videos a week. Most of the time I release more. Leaving a comment actually helps me a lot. Helps me know what you'd like, dislike, or would like to see on my channel. So go ahead and leave me a comment. If you would like to get in touch with me, have any questions, anything like that, you can go ahead and email me at vmail@pOedGamer.com. You can also follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. As always, thank you for watching, and until next time.